Hey folks, it's Mike again, coming at you with another video. This past weekend, my family was out of town on vacation and I was kind of bored at home. And I've been wanting to go out to the local flea market because there's a guy here who, he'd been at the recent record show in town and had some pretty good stuff, and told me he was out at the flea market on the weekends. So I wanted to check out and go through his stuff and find some stuff to buy. So I went out to the flea market on Saturday, and as I worked my way through the booths, stopped at a couple of booths that had some records and stuff, and here's what I found. The first was a little booth with like baby chickens and some baby pigs in it, and like mulch on the floor. It's really kind of weird, bizarre, but as I peeked in and looked at the animals, but then as I was walking by, I noticed this woman had like kind of a rack with some records in it, and some DVDs, VHS stuff, and some CDs, and a little sign that said 25 cents each. So whoa, doubled back, went back in the booth and looked through and found some cool stuff. Found some CDs. I pick up CDs if I find some interesting stuff for cheap. CDs, it's weird now, they're going for like $1 each or less. That would have been hard to believe like 15 years ago, when used stuff was like at least $10 each. But picked up a Keith Jarrett, the Cologne concert, from live recording from Cologne, Germany. I've seen this on vinyl for years and years and years. So ever since I started collecting records, I think. Obviously a very popular title, and I've gotten familiar with his stuff through his jazz recordings, playing with Charles Lloyd and his solo, or not solo, but his as a leader himself, and never really had any of his solo piano stuff, and this is the right price. I picked this one up. Nice addition to the ECM collection. And then another one is it's a compilation, The Best of the Jazz Saxophones Volume 3. And this is on the LRC label, I guess it's called. I've seen the label before. I always get a little confused because the logo, it looks kind of like the Inner City Records logo, if you're familiar with that label, jazz label. Has like an IC. I think this is like an LRC, and I think it has something to do with a producer named Sonny Lester, because several of the tracks on this are produced by him. So it might be like Lester Records Corp or something. But anyway, it's got some great players: Zoot Sims, Freddie Hubbard, Jerry Mulligan, Sonny Stitt, Stan Getz, Lee Konitz, Eddie Lockjaw Davis, Illinois Jacket. So again, that was cheap, good price. And then the third one was a Pacific Jazz compilation put up by Capitol Records. This is the best of the Jerry Mulligan Quartet with Chet Baker. This would have been stuff from like the early 50s on Pacific Jazz. Stuff from 10-inch records, EPs, and some of the early LPs on Pacific Jazz. And this was put together by Ron McMaster. Did the digital transfers of this. He's a great remastering engineer. Did some really nice stuff for Blue Note, and handled the Pacific Jazz things for Capitol, EMI. Really nice little compilation. Some good notes inside and stuff. So I was happy to pick that up. These are all 25 cents each. And then picked up a couple records. A guy I'd heard of, someone who left a comment on one of my videos talking about guitar players, Randy Bobandy. I mentioned Billy Strange. I hadn't really heard of him before, and I kind of looked into him and I happened to find one of his records here. This is Mr. Guitar by Billy Strange, and this is a reissue. The original would have been on the GNP, G. Norman Presents GNP Crescendo label back in I can't remember now, but this is reissued years later. This is a Liberty, kind of their budget reissue label, Sunset. Some interesting guitar and a lot of different kind of arrangements, horns, strings type stuff. Pretty good. Didn't blow me away, but it's interesting stuff, and I always like to kind of check out new guitarists. I like that cover, all the different guitars there. So that was a quarter, and then the other one I bought that really kind of blew me away. Probably heard of this guy, but forgot about him. The name didn't ring a bell at the moment, but of course it's with a name like Velvet Guitar and the era it was from. I had to pick it up. This is Hank Garland. This is a reissue on the Columbia Harmony label. This originally would have come out about 1960 or 61, and this is a later stereo reissue. I think Discog said this would have been issued 68 or later, but so it's kind of suspect it's probably fake stereo. I'm not sure. Here's the back cover. You can see a picture of him. I don't know why they wouldn't put that in the front cover. That would have been nice. Very well-known Nashville session player like Chet Atkins. Extremely talented. And unfortunately, we played like on Patsy Cline, backing her up. Some of her recordings, some of Elvis's recordings. But apparently was kind of a rule breaker in Nashville. He actually, under his own name, recorded this album and then two more that were more kind of a jazz albums with I think it's Tony Morello from the Dave Brubeck Quartet on drums, I think, and Gary Burton on vibes. Some really good stuff. But he got involved in a tragic car accident in 1961, I think, and either the car accident or some electroshock therapy afterwards, depending on what you believe and what you believe were the cause for the accident. His brother speculates that some of the industry types from Nashville weren't real happy with him and forced him off the road. And the other story is he was kind of chasing his wife or something and lost control of the car and wrecked. But either way, he ended up brain damaged and didn't really record afterwards. He, struggled back just to get his ability to play guitar again. But recorded 2 or 3 great albums. So I was really happy to pick this up, and I've been playing it quite a bit. It's really good. That's Hank Garland. Great sound. If you like Chet Atkins, definitely check this guy out. Here's the vinyl on this one, on the Harmony label. Pretty good pressing. So that's it for that booth, and those were 25 cents each, and actually the lady, I had 5 of between the CDs and the records, she said, just give me $1, so 20 cents a piece. It works out too. That was a great start to a day at the flea market. And then another booth I stopped at was a lady I've shopped at before, kind of in the middle of the flea market. Nice older lady, kind of a chain smoker, but she always has some interesting records, so I picked up a few. The first is or a couple. First is a compilation on Columbia Records. This is the Jazz Poll Winners compilation with guys like Miles Davis, Les Brown, Lionel Hampton, the vibe player, J.J. Johnson, the great trombone player, Dave Brubeck, Jerry Mulligan, Don Elliott, another vibes player, Kenny Burrell. So a neat little compilation, and what you got the nice pictures on. What sold me on this is it's got a kind of a booklet that was attached to the inner sleeve, and there's a nice picture of Miles there. But a nice little booklet with the the photos of the different guys and a little bit of info on them, like what awards they've won or what polls, like the Playboy readers, the Downbeat magazine, Metronome, where they rank, and a little bio information on these guys. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I always like when you have like little booklets or extra information or something in the set. There's Charles Mingus. So that was cool. That was like $1, I think. And then the other record I bought was a A couple of guys who do, this is a lot more recent, this is from the 90s. This is Ming and FS. Kind of a hip-hop electro thing. These guys do, it's kind of a mashup, a mixture of hip-hop and Detroit techno music, drum and bass, which is real big in the 90s, late 90s. They call it junkyard style, but this is their Subway series. There would have been 2 LPs in this set, and there's just this one, and it was missing the actual jacket. So, but for $1, I wanted to pick it up. I had some of these guys' stuff already on CD. This is Hell's Kitchen on the same label, Ohm Records. And then this is like, I guess, a double single. This is Applied Pressure on Sound Gizmo Records. I haven't heard of them before. And then of course they're on this great compilation, this deeper concentration with this wonderful Doze Green cool graffiti style art cover. And so I've heard of them before, and I really like their mixture of music there. So I was happy to pick that up for $1. But the reason I was at the flea market, I was looking for this guy who'd sold at the record show, and I looked all over and didn't see him. And so I stopped at the office, and they told me, no, he's only out on Sundays, and told me what booth he was in. So I came back the next day, Sunday, went all through the flea market looking for this guy, and didn't see him, and kind of went back. No trace of him, but it was Easter Sunday, and kind of overcast, crappy weather. It looked like it might rain, so I guess he decided not to come out that day. But hopefully one of these weekends I'll catch up to him and see what he's got. But that was my pickups this last weekend, my flea market finds at the local flea market. Just a quick video. And once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for any comments. Thanks for the subscribers. I appreciate it. Bye.